Just by the way Betts goes after this block, I can tell we're kind of lacking the finesse at the big position. What we don't want to do is whack down at the ball like this, because now we're putting the pressure on the ref to make a foul call. Here, Betts is standing right at the elbow. She gets the ball, puts it in her left shoulder pocket, and then sweeps through and loses the ball against Reagan Beers. I don't know what it is about players that just love sweeping the ball towards the defender's space, okay? But here's the thing. If you're going to sweep through, try to get little ticky-tack foul on the defender, then we have to be strong with the ball, obviously. But two, if we're not going to do that, keep the ball in your other pocket. You have 4 pockets: left shoulder, left hip, right hip. Keep the ball in one of those pockets and away from the defense so little turnovers like this don't happen. If the defender's hand is already there and we're sweeping the ball through, that's less of a chance that the ref actually calls a defensive foul. This I put directly on UCLA player development, because all offseason you should have been drilling with Lauren Betts on the amount of time she has to make a play, especially when she's below the perimeter, around the paint, or in the paint. I'll be the first to say this play isn't majority her fault, but it does point out the fact that she still struggles with her court awareness. Kiki, as she passes the ball to Betts, should have cut off of Betts, drawing Peyton Verhulst away from the play instead of just walking lower, which allows Verhulst to get in the play. But here for Betts on this step out, if I recognize that there's still a defender somewhere around the perimeter, especially towards where I'm stepping, I can use that step to seal Peyton Verhulst out of the play. So now I'm giving myself more options, and I'm also helping the space on my team. Kiki Rice is now able to maybe drift lower on the 3-point line, and you can probably still see Gianna Neepkins, who's cutting wide open for a bucket. All right, so here's Beers versus Betts again. Lauren catches it in the middle of the paint. Beers holds her own, but then detaches, allows Betts to go into her drop step and detaches again and just meets her on the other side of it. Okay. All right, to fix this post play, we have to do a couple of things. So as we're battling with Reagan Beers, we have to make sure that our shoulders are somewhat the same level. I'm not saying she's too high here, but she could be a little bit lower since Beers is a brick wall. We got to get a little lower to nullify Beers' advantage of leverage. Now on the catch, we want to make sure that we're on balance, because watch what Reagan Beers does. As she catches, she immediately detaches and basically gives Betts space. Once again, Beers is following the scout perfectly, because she understands she's fine with letting Betts take this little jump hook in the middle of the paint. But that is the exact shot Betts should be looking for. But she can't take advantage of that offensive option anyway, because she's already off balance. Now, this goes back to UCLA player development again, because Lauren Betts is entering these games with only one post move in her bag, and that's the same drop step going to her right. If we're going to use our dribble in the paint, especially knowing that we have double or triple teams incoming, 3 in the key incoming, we should have our own mental clock of 1.5 seconds ticking, then we have to make sure that this dribble is purposeful. But watch as Betts takes the dribble in the paint, and again, watch her anchor foot. Her left foot barely moves as she takes this dribble. Knowing that we have limited time and space, we want to make sure that that dribble is purposeful. So whether we're using it to try and move Beers out of the way or create a different angle for ourselves, we have to make sure that that dribble is getting us somewhere. UCLA player development, I once again question what you are doing, and I also ask the universe, why am I still unemployed? Betts gets the offensive rebound here, okay? She's obviously not going to win the strength battle against Beers, so she catches this offensive rebound just off of her height. Great. Why is Lauren Betts now bringing the ball below her waist to jack up some BS? Just keep the ball high. As soon as she catches it, right here, shoulder height right here, 2 hands on the ball, easy jump hook. You bring the ball down below your waist, you're allowing the defenders to get back into the play, which is exactly what they do, and you have to settle for some bull. Once again, I'll be the first to say this is not all Betts' fault. I think Betts and Lasia Walker share the blame right here. Lasia Walker should be butt to sideline, making sure that she's not running away from the outlet pass, especially knowing there are defenders in the backcourt. So Lasia Walker should be waiting on Betts. But this goes back to Lauren Betts' court awareness, as she just throws a nice little lollipop pass that gets picked off by Verhulst. UCLA player development, you need to be picking this up. I cannot know your players' habits better or more than you. Lauren Betts has a habit of stepping out or stepping away from her positioning as she catches the ball. So as you can see, she's the only one on that side of the court. She is 1v1 with Beers. a little bit lower than the dotted line and elects to give that up to catch the ball on the elbow. Now, Oklahoma has 5 players watching Betts. I'm not sure why, but Jaquez, can you please cut to the hoop? You can read Verhulst's jersey. Now, Betts goes straight to her signature move where she drop steps going to her right, but Beers is already waiting on that. So Beers walls her up, and then Betts tries to sweep through a defender again and puts up some BS. Now, even though the play is ugly, I need Lauren Betts, who has 2 feet now on the block, to finish this jump hook. UCLA player development, please pay attention here. If Lauren Betts wants to become a dominant force in the paint, she has to be a stronger post dribbler, because a lot of the time her dribble is disconnected from her body movements. And there's no better example than this right here. First, we have to make sure that our anchor foot is actually anchoring us. So Lauren Betts shouldn't be on the tippy toe of her left foot, her inside foot, because that's her anchor foot. That's the foot that she needs to be on the ground so that she can sink a little bit lower. That way she can use her butt and her back to push Reagan Beers backwards. Because that's in the air, Lauren Betts actually gets away with a travel here as she picks up her anchor foot before she even puts the ball on the ground. Now, as Betts takes 2 dribbles right here, notice how the first one, Beers kind of walls her up, but the second one gets her absolutely nowhere as well. It's just another wasted dribble. Now, as she picks the ball up, she then steps, which is actually a travel again, and then she tries a step through, which once again is the entire problem of Lauren Betts' dribble not being connected with her body movements. So this again falls back onto the player development staff if your player doesn't know how to execute a step through. Because right now, Lauren Betts is in space. She's in the same positioning as she was on the other side of the floor, where one foot is straddling the dotted line and the restricted area. Obviously, Beers is going to meet her at the place of the higher percentage look. So right here, Lauren Betts is open, but she doesn't understand that she's open because she's trying to do a step through to absolutely nowhere.